Welcome to Furry Facts, the channel where every whisker hides a mystery and every meow tells a story. Here, we uncover the hidden truths about cats, their instincts, their secrets, their strange behaviors, and the spiritual lessons they carry. This is Furry Facts, where cats aren't just companions. They are guardians, healers, and sometimes silent witnesses to life's greatest mysteries. It happens quietly. A loved one lies in bed, frail, breath slowing. And there, beside them, sits a cat. Sometimes it's the family pet. Sometimes it's a cat from the neighborhood. Sometimes, in hospitals and hospices, it's a therapy cat who seems to know when the end is near. Why do cats show up when someone is dying? Is it a coincidence? Is it biology, sense, and signals we can't detect? Or is it something deeper, something spiritual, a recognition of the crossing from one world to another? Tonight, we'll explore the science, the stories, and the soul of this mystery. Cats and death, why they appear at life's end and what their presence means. When humans near death, subtle changes occur. Breathing shifts, heart rhythms slow. The body's temperature changes. Chemical signals rise in sweat, breath, and skin. Cats, with their extraordinary senses, may detect these shifts long before we do. Their acute smell, hearing, and sensitivity make them natural observers of change. Cats have a sense of smell 14 times stronger than ours. Scientists suggest they may detect chemicals released during organ failure or the scent of ketones in the breath of the dying. What we cannot notice, they may smell clearly. To them, the air itself changes when death approaches. Cats also hear beyond human range. They may pick up faint irregularities in breathing, the slowing of a heartbeat, or the silence between breaths. Where we hear stillness, they hear the approach of finality. Cats are drawn to warmth. As circulation fades, heat shifts across the body. Cats may sense these changes, curling near the warmest places, instinctively staying close as life ebbs away. Science explains part of the puzzle. Cats detect change. They sit with the dying because they sense something is different. But this explanation feels incomplete because their behavior is not detached. It is tender, intentional, reverent. And that brings us to the stories. Perhaps the most famous story is that of Oscar, a cat living at the Steerhouse Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Oscar was an ordinary-looking cat adopted as a kitten. But soon, the staff noticed something uncanny. Oscar would curl up next to patients in the final hours of their lives, not days before, but hours. Over the years, Oscar predicted the deaths of more than 100 patients. Doctors and nurses began to trust him. If Oscar climbed onto a bed, they quietly prepared the family. They knew the end was near. Was it biology? Could Oscar sense the subtle changes that signal death? Or was it something else, a sixth sense, a spiritual awareness? Families around the world tell similar stories. A family cat who ignored a frail grandmother for years suddenly curled against her in her last night of life. A stray cat that never entered a home walked through the open door on the evening of a man's passing, sat silently beside the bed, then disappeared after his final breath. Hospice workers recall cats climbing onto beds, pressing clothes, and purring steadily as patients drift away. These stories repeat with eerie consistency. When death nears, cats arrive. Many hospices allow cats to roam because of the comfort they bring. Staff often notice cats gravitate toward patients who are closest to death. They don't cause death, they don't fear it. They simply accompany it, sitting vigil when no one else can. Skeptics argue it's a coincidence. Cats seek warmth, and the dying often stay still under blankets. Cats seek silence, and the dying are quiet. But coincidence struggles to explain the timing. Why so often in the final hours? Why with such accuracy? Why with such consistency across cultures and stories? Even doctors who dismiss mysticism admit the pattern feels intentional. Cats don't just perch at random. They press close. They purr. They stay until the very end. It doesn't feel like instinct, it feels like a presence. Across cultures, cats have long been associated with thresholds, doors, windows, crossroads, and most powerfully, the threshold between life and death. Their silent watching, their sudden arrivals, their nocturnal eyes that glow in darkness, all gave them a reputation as liminal beings. When a cat appeared at a deathbed, people believed it wasn't random. The cat was there to guard, to watch, to witness the crossing. In ancient Egypt, cats were sacred to Bastet, the goddess of home and protection, but they were also linked to the journey of the soul. Egyptians believed cats could see spirits, guiding souls safely to the afterlife. A cat's vigil beside the dying was not seen as eerie. It was a blessing, the gods sending a guide. In Celtic folklore, the cat Sith, a large spectral black cat, was said to appear at wakes and funerals. It was feared by some, honored by others. Some tales said the cat Sith could steal souls if not respected. Others saw it as a guardian, ensuring the soul's safe passage. In Norse mythology, cats were sacred to Freyja, goddess of love and death. Her chariot was drawn by two cats, and their presence at deathbeds was seen as her blessing, a sign that love followed the soul into the next world. Though stories differ, guardian, thief, companion, or messenger, one theme repeats across cultures: cats are tied to death. They are present when life ends, not by chance but by nature. They are not afraid of death, they face it. They sit with it, they walk alongside it. And perhaps this is why their presence feels so profound when someone is dying, because we sense deep down that cats have always walked with death as both witness and guide. In our modern world, we often fear death, avoid it, hide from it. Cats do the opposite. They move toward it. They sit in its stillness. When a cat curls beside a dying person, it isn't panicked or afraid. It simply is. That presence, calm, steady, silent, becomes a gift to the dying and to their families. It says, "You are not alone." Cats often purr while sitting with the dying. Science tells us purring reduces pain and stress. Spiritually, it feels like a lullaby, a vibration that eases the passage, softening fear and soothing the heart. Families often describe the sound as holy. It's not words, but it communicates peace. Cats accept death in a way humans rarely do. They don't cling to life in denial. When their own time comes, many cats withdraw, seek quiet, and slip away with dignity. So when they sit with the dying, they reflect that same acceptance. They mirror back to us the truth that death is part of the cycle, not a mistake. Their stillness becomes spiritual teaching. Even skeptics often admit there is something sacred in the way cats behave at the deathbed. Their timing, their stillness, their attention, it doesn't feel random. It feels chosen. Whether biology or spirit, the meaning is the same. Cats bring peace. They remind us that the end of life does not have to be faced in fear or loneliness. Science says cats sense death because of smell, sound, and temperature. Spirituality says cats arrive because they walk between worlds, guardians of thresholds. Maybe both are true. Maybe biology explains how they know and spirit explains why they stay. Because what science cannot explain is their choice. They don't flee from the dying. They don't avoid silence. They stay. They offer presence. They offer peace. For families, a cat's vigil at the deathbed is often unforgettable. It reassures loved ones that the dying are not alone. It softens grief with a sense of mystery, that something more is happening than we can see. It transforms fear into awe because even an animal seems to acknowledge the soul's journey. Whether you believe in spirit or not, their presence reshapes how we experience death. Practical reflections for cat owners: don't be alarmed. If your cat sits with a dying loved one, don't chase it away. Recognize the comfort it may bring, honor the presence. Many cultures bow or speak softly when a cat attends the dying. Even if you don't believe in spirits, you can honor the moment. Learn from them. Notice their stillness, their acceptance. Let it remind you to be present, calm, unafraid. support them afterwards. Cats may grieve too. Offer comfort if they seem restless after death. They may feel the loss as keenly as you. Cats teach us something we resist. That death is not abandonment but transition. Their willingness to sit with the dying shows us that presence is enough. You don't have to fix it, you don't have to fight, you only have to be there. In this way, the cat at the deathbed is not just a companion, it's a teacher. A reminder that love is not measured in words but in silent witness. So why do cats show up when someone is dying? Because they can, because they sense it, because they accept it, and because, in their mysterious way, they honor it. The cat at the deathbed is not a coincidence. It is grace, a small, furred reminder that in our final moments, we are never truly alone. This has been Furry Facts, where we uncover the hidden truths of the feline world. If this episode touched your heart, please like this video, share it with fellow cat lovers, and subscribe for more feline wisdom. Tap the bell so you never miss an episode. Because with cats, nothing is random. Every meow, every stare, every purr carries meaning. And sometimes, when life itself comes to an end, cats appear not as hunters, not as pets, but as guardians of the final mystery.